Hey folks, thank you for joining us again for another exciting episode of YOML. This is the Year of Magical Learning podcast. And today we are on reflection 343. This is not my favorite topic, but let's talk about it.
This is this is one of the best books. Like I this is definitely in the top 10 of the books that I've read on this journey. So this book was amazing. I loved it. Loved every minute of it. It's called Nine Lives About Work,
Yeah.
Freethinking Leader's Guide to the Real World by Marcus Buckingham and Ashley Goodall. It's exactly what it says. Nine lives about work. So he goes through nine different lies that he talks about he's actually talking about it in ways that you would actually really enjoy. He's not talking about it work like work. He's talking about like the
Ah,
lies that we say about work, right?
okay.
So here I'm gonna pull up the book really fast so I can give you some of the lies. Oh, I got a new phone, so it's not downloaded. So it'll download here in a second, then I'll tell you. This is Audible. Here's some of the lies. Like lie number one is people care which company they work for. Lie number two is the best plan wins. Lie number three is the best companies cascade goals. Lie number four is the best people are well rounded. Lie number five is people need feedback. Lie number six is people can reliably rate other people. Lie number seven is people have potential. Lie number eight is work life balance matters most. Lie number nine is leadership is a thing. So it's basically going through all the stuff that we all know is bullshit and saying like this is why
Yes,
this is
yes.
total
It's
bullshit.
pretty
Right.
obvious these are bullshit, like, work-life balance. You don't mean it.
So it's a great book. Honestly, these are the types of books that I crave, and this is what Amelia and I just love, right? This is why you open up each next book because you're like, is it going to be a Nine Lives About Work? Is it going to be a Sapiens? Is it going to be a Black Swan? You just never know. It's like Christmas morning almost, and then you start it, and you're like, whoa, it's when you just know it when you know what I'm talking about. Like when you get one of those books where you just like you immediately know it's going to be a really great book, and you just love it,
Yeah.
and you're like, you know what I'm talking about? Like that feeling is
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
the best. It's just like you're just consuming new knowledge all over the place, and it's just like whoa, whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa, whoa.
you're
Like
hitting the learning and discovery core values, When you
exactly,
hit one
yeah,
of the core values, it feels good. It's just like
feels
when you're a
great.
believer, you must damn and you see damn, oh, I'm in my zone.
Exactly.
But I'm doing this building thing. I like trying to stretch as much time as possible. It's like when the darkness is forcing me to go in, I turn on the light, try to figure out what else can do without getting into the risk of safety.
Right.
You're gonna have to pull me away from it. Like it just feels good. I
Yeah.
mean,
I
I mean,
uh,
it's I'm here. It's like 60 degree, and it's
yeah.
kind of chilly. So it's chilly. If I go out, first thing I go out, it's chilly. Even with a windbreaker on, it's a little bit
Right.
chilly. But once I start walking, I don't feel anything. I skip lunch. The only reason why I get food is because I have my brother here. I need to feed him. So that's the only reason why I even stop and go in and say, hey, what you want? And usually it's like late, hey, 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. I say, hey, you want lunch? Yeah, I'm hungry. I'm
Yeah, I'm
starving.
starving, man. That's
I should have
awesome.
done that at noon.
It's called A Red Thread, Love and Work. You read that book, right?
Yep, yep. Same author, right?
I think I found a red thread with this author, so I think I'm gonna go read some more of his books actually.
Okay.
You found a red thread, keep pulling it, figure out why you love it.
Like like I started that last Thursday, and it's already, tomorrow is the whole week, and
Right.
I'm just like
Time's flying by.
I'm just flying.
Time
But
flies when
the
you're
best
doing
the
when you're
best part
doing
is I'm in the zone. I'm in
yeah,
the zone. It's like until somebody comes out and like get me, because for example, like this is how I'm talking about. I bring a cup of coffee out there,
right.
right? I forgot about a cup of coffee. The thing
It's
is,
funny.
there is nothing else on my mind except for the work.
Right.
That's how in the zone I am. And once I start sawing some stuff, I'm just like, I don't feel the cold. I forgot my coffee. I forgot the lunch. I mean, nothing can take me. The only way like I say, the only way that it can forces me to stop is because I couldn't work anymore. Not,
The universe made you stop.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
Because
awesome. I
I
mean,
can't see, it's like I can't see, I can't cut. So when I start to measure the wood, and when I can't see the line I'm drawing, oh, okay, dark. I gotta stop.
well, I mean, if this was your career, I'm sure you would go buy some serious lighting or whatever to keep going, so you can have light
Oh man,
outside, like a generator or something like that.
I have almost all the tools that is ever needed to do any kind of work.
Right.
And I have all of them. And everything I bought is Milwaukee, which is
Yeah.
like the professional top of the line tool. They were really expensive, 30 grand easy. Most of my tools at home. I only bring the portable tools that put
Right.
onto this roller cart. I'm saying I have more tools and much more tools at home. I have everything at home. I have because one of the things is I was trying to bring the work light and the Milwaukee work light,
Yeah.
but my brother saying, why are you bringing it? You know, if stop, stop. I said, oh, okay. So I didn't bring it. So now I had to stop because he said,
Shouldn't listen to other people, True. Do you sound like you were prepared to do what you like to
yeah,
do.
I got everything. And then some of the tools that I brought with me that my brother said I should need it, but it was small enough. I took it anyway. I said, hey, it's small
Right.
enough. It's not like a big tool. And he said, no, you don't need it. And I said, okay, but the little tools that he said you don't need it, I pack anyway. But then when I come here, it turns out I needed it.
Right. Right. That's funny, man. Sounds like you found a red thread. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. Like
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm
you're
saying is
really really
I'm
excited about
a
this.
builder, right? I'm a builder. I create things. That's get me in the zone, and one of those things is it's something that this is one of the things is I can't go to work for somebody, right? Even though the thing I like to do is doing these things,
Right.
I can't work for someone because there are certain things that I don't like, right? There's certain aspect of like because this is my house, this is my vacation home, I can do whatever I want.
Right.
Right. So if I need to pivot, I say, hey, this deck no good. I chop them off. Like, hey, if
Right.
at first I told you I was trying to, unscrew these things so I can salvage some stuff. If
Mhm.
it doesn't work, I just, just cut it
Yeah.
away and just dump it and then just build out everything new. And so that's what I think this is the difference between the red thread that you follow, but at the same time, there's not other things around it that cause the red thread to be
That's true. Yeah.
and so you say, hey, true, since you love to do handyman work and blah, 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 and they create things, why don't you just do that professionally?
Right.
I wouldn't like it. Because, and that's the thing is, the same thing is when my wife tell me to build something, I hated it.
Right. That's fine.
But the
Yeah.
moment she says she needs something, right?
Like I'm not. Yeah, I got it.
I step up and be the good loving husband and build her stuff.
Tell you to do something. Like I'm the same way. If somebody tells me, "Hey, do this," I'm gonna be like, "Fuck you." No.
Imagine my wife's telling me, hey, you need to do this and you do that. It's like, I
No.
mean, it gets on my nerve.
Right.
I wasn't enjoying it.
I loved cutting the grass. I love cutting the grass, actually.
Uh-huh.
I used to have battle royales with my dad because my dad made me cut the grass when I was younger. And I was like, look, I'll cut the fucking grass. And when I cut it, it'll look fucking great,
Uh-huh.
but like, you don't tell me when to cut the grass. Like, I will tell you when I'm going to cut the grass. And like,
Yes.
so like, he would always get on my ass all the time about, I'd be watching TV after coming back from playing baseball or whatever. And he's like, hey, go cut the yard. And I'm like, no,
I'm not gonna yell.
I will cut the fucking yard when I'm ready to. I mean, we used to just yell at each other all the time. Like if you want to cut it, go for it. The one thing that he could always count on me though is when I would cut it, it looked great. I would cut it, I would bag it, great lines all down the. He probably had the best fucking yard on the block, and he's like, yeah, I don't have to do shit, because like just let me do what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
You ready to get to this one?
Yeah, yes. Yeah. I mean,
All right,
hopefully this reflection is relating
it's
to what
kind
we're
of it's
talking
kind
about.
of it actually is a little bit right. So this one, the reflection of this one is as I miss my forehand. Do you remember the book that we read a couple months back, right? So you remember how they talked about like your backhands, right?
Backhand,
Right. So in tennis or pickleball or racquetball, whatever, any racket sport, right?
forehand and backhand.
You have a forehand and a backhand, right?
Hmm.
Your forehand is usually the one-handed shot, and your body's completely open. It's usually a more powerful shot. You have more swing, more lag, more everything, right? The backhand is a closed shot. You're turning your shoulders over. You're using two hands usually for most people. Some people hit a one-handed backhand, but it's a really, really difficult shot to do. You have less power for most people. This is just the generalities of it, right? Like most
Right.
people don't have as good of a. Everybody usually has a better forehand than they have a
Most
back.
people.
Most people. So the point of everyone culture was focus on your backhand. This is like focus on
Your
your weakness.
weaknesses, right?
This is like, hey, you can't get better at what you're trying to get better at unless you address a deficiency and like make sure that you call it out. Like this was what that was about. So I was like, that's a great lesson. I remember I even took this to my team and I was like, hey, let's identify what our backhands are. And, because everybody's backhand's a little different, right? In sales, it may be my backhand is, follow up. My backhand is prospecting. My backhand is whatever it may be. People's backhands are going to be different. The backhand is just a symbol of what is an area that is a weakness of yours, that is a known weakness that other people can pick on, that you're never going to level up, I guess, if you don't focus on it, right? So as this relates to the story, one of the lies about work, I didn't even document it in here. So people that are reading this reflection will probably be like, what the fuck is he talking about? Where is all this coming from? One of the lies about work that this guy, Marcus Buckingham, talked about was that the best people are well-rounded is the lie, right? And he was like, no, the answer is best people are spiky, meaning they do certain things really, really, really well, and everything else is kind of, whatever it is, what it is, right? And he gives this example of Lionel Messi. You know who Lionel Messi is, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So
Well, I don't know. Yeah, he's
well,
one of the great players, but
he's one of the greatest players of all time in soccer. Fair enough. I mean, I'm not a soccer, like, this isn't a hill I'm going to die on, so I don't really care because I'm not a big soccer fan. But anyway, Lionel Messi is modern day one of the best players in the world. Like, I mean, modern day Tom Brady. There you go. So this is something I didn't know because I don't really follow soccer or watch anything, right? But apparently Lionel Messi's left foot is like godlike, with his abilities to do things with his left foot. And you would think that most teams would strategize against that, knowing that his take his left foot away. If you have like a great, left-handed layup or something like that, or, whatever in basketball, like people, your defense, they gear around that. They're like, oh, well, let's take away what his strengths are, right? Make him go do other things, Well, apparently Lionel Messi, for every 10 hits of the ball, every dribble, 9 out of 10 of them are on his left foot. Even when people try to attack him, his left foot, he still figures it out. But the thing is, what Marcus Buckingham was talking about is he still has to get good with his right foot just to keep people honest enough, but he only touches it when he absolutely has to get back to his left foot, right? So then it goes back to, I miss my forehand. For years and years and years, I've been playing tennis since I was a little kid. I play other racket sports, racquetball, badminton, pickleball now. I'm very into pickleball. Actually, I just won the finals of the King of Ellenberger Park.
oh, really?
I am officially the King of Ellenberger Park in the pickleball world.
So a ringer of sort in terms of pickleball because you played tennis all your life.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I think 9 out of the top 10 players in the world have a tennis background. It's a very easy sport to transition from one to the other, but not the other way. You can't go play pickleball and then go play tennis really, really well. The harder sport is tennis, and pickleball is a lot easier.
Of course. I mean, you can always downgrade. We can't upgrade.
Right, exactly. Right. Exactly. It's like being able to, to throw a baseball is a lot probably harder than to throw a football, which is probably why a lot of guys, get better accuracy when you get like a Patrick Mahomes.
Right, you look up at Patrick Mahomes and he played baseball, and
Kyler Murray,
he gets strength from throwing the baseball.
Right. All different kinds of arm angles. You see what he does, these arm angles that you can't teach that in football because that's not what you do. Like in baseball, you have to be pinpoint target.
This is where the pinpoint accuracy of the baseball translate into football. It's like, hey, football pinpoint accuracy is like, you talk about a target this big to a target this huge in football, right? So you talk about, hey, the guy's running down that way. You throw to some guy who a receiver that's really good. He can probably catch. I mean, he can catch in any radius that is around, like, I would say like 10-foot radius. Like any place in 10-foot radius, he'll catch it. I mean, so the target in football is huge. The target in baseball is
tiny. Yeah, it is. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a very, very, very small.
You have to throw through that plate for you to get,
Right.
I mean, it's not like you can have the huge, target to work with. And that's why, accuracy, it becomes, it's easier when you do the baseball and you perfect the baseball and then you go to football. Hey, accuracy. Oh, I hit it. Well, I don't know if that's accurate, but, it's still on target.
I heard this. I think it was this book called Making Winners by Michael. Who's the guy that wrote The Big Short and Moneyball? Michael Lewis. So this was an audio podcast by Michael Lewis. Apparently, you ever heard of the game called? It's this game that you play indoors in soccer. Apparently, and it's like the ball's heavier and harder to kick, and it's like a super tight knit little quarter. Like it's a very, very small, tight knit like indoor sport.
That ball you can't.
Right. So you have to get really good at passing, and you have to get really good at navigating around people in very tight quarters. So this is a game because Brazil. This is a game that Brazilians. This is like the secondary national game of Brazil, and one of the reasons why they play it is because it's that they don't have the space or the money to build out all these things. So they would play indoor, but they love soccer, right? So they just found ways to play it in spaces they had, and they got really, really good at this game. And that's one of the reasons why Like they've always been incredibly good at passing and navigating in tight quarters because they have to get incredibly good at that when they're playing this game.
Right.
And then you go play on the big soccer field and they're like, holy shit, I got all this space to go do all this stuff. And
So
they
easy.
it's easy. Yeah. So that's how, like, you know, kids are like you said, transitioning from something harder. Like it's like playing with a medicine ball. If you can throw a 10-pound medicine ball, you know, 50 miles an hour, you take that off, you know, or like the rucksack that I'm running with.
Right.
You take off the rucksack and then you start running without it and you're like, oh my God, like this is way easier. All right. So as it goes back to all this story of, you know, the backhands from the everyone culture to Lionel Messi's left foot and how, you know, he balances that out. You would think that he would probably be like 8 out of 10 shots would be on his right foot because they would take that away. But no, he's still like 9 out of 10 of his shots go on his left foot, right? Because that's what his dominant weapon is. And he knows that. And that's why he's Lionel Messi probably. So how does this relates back to me, right? So my entire life, like, I mean, I'm a good tennis player. I'm not like a great tennis player, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm a good tennis player. I'm not some like, you know, pro level tennis player or anything like that. But growing up, you know, I've always been, you know, in my own geographic area, I've always been one of the top players that I've, you know, whatever skill level that I was in or area of my life that I was in, I'm just a competitive person. And one of the things that I've always hit so well is my forehand. My whole entire life. I've told you this before. Like my forehand is like a thing that makes me want to play tennis. Like I think I probably would never play tennis. I would never have fallen in love with tennis if I didn't have my forehand. Like every time you could put me on a court with a ball machine and say, just hit forehands for 8 hours and I would hit it. And I'd be like, oh, whoa. You know, it makes me excited. You know, when I was just playing in my pickleball match tonight, like I was just ripping forehands all over the court against this guy. Sometimes I hit him and I'm even like, damn, that was a pretty shot, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, and it just feels good. It feels effortless for me. And I know other people tell me all the time, they're like, God, your forehand is vicious. And I'm like, yeah, it is. Like, I mean, I can in pickleball, like I can fucking hit the ball so hard with my forehand that it like scares people and runs them off the court. Like, not only is it hard, but it's deep, it's fast, it's got a lot of spin, and it's coming at you fucking hard, right? It is an intimidating shot. But here's the thing with me, with tennis, I got to a certain point in time where my forehand couldn't just dominate people anymore, right? And they had their own weapons, right? As you level up in different skills. I had a glaring weakness of my backhand. I had a horrible backhand. Like, I mean, it was my whole life I had a horrible backhand, but I was like, I don't really give a shit. Nobody's made me have to get better at my backhand. I would just run around it. I would hit more forehands and do whatever I wanted to do. If you gave me a chance to put a ball away with my forehand, I'm going to try to put it away. There's no rally balls when I was younger. It was like, oh my God, I'm going to cream this ball. Like, here it is. Like, you know, I'm going. So as I got older and I got leveled up more and more competitive tennis and playing better and better competition, when they could neutralize my forehand, it would immediately just be all my backhand all day long. And they would just take control of the point, backhand, 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 and I would fucking lose, you know? And I'm like, God, I'm like, I know that I need to fix this backhand and I had to fix it, right? So for the past like maybe 5 years, like I only basically train my backhand. When I go out on the tennis court and I have my ball machine or I'm taking a lesson or whatever it is, I just drill, deliberate practice with my backhand slices, backhand, you know, whatever, right? I got better. I got way better. My backhand is now no longer a glaring weakness. It's actually pretty average. And even sometimes like I can hit some winners off of it, but it's not a great shot, but it's definitely a shot where people have to respect it, right? They can't just go, oh, clearly this is where you go attack Chris all day long, right? It's like, okay, all right, well, you can try to attack me there, and I'm going to try to make you pay for it a little bit. But here's the weird thing that's happened over the past few years. I actually find myself hitting more backhands in the course of a match, way more backhands now, because I'm comfortable enough where I'm like, oh, I can make this a rally ball. Whereas my forehand, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to fucking put this away. Like, you know, like, I mean, like, I don't even care if it's not even a put awayable shot. I'm going for it. Like, cause I can't. Like there's shots that I can hit with my forehand that I can't do with my backhand. It's not even in the cards. It's always going to be just a rally ball for me with my backhand. And now it's good enough to be a strong rally ball, but it's not going to ever hurt anybody. And that's when this reflection comes into play. I had an epiphany after reading this about, you know, the best people are well-rounded. It's not. He's right. The best people are spiky. And I miss my fucking forehand. Like I had been training so hard and so long on trying to make my backhand average that I forgot that my great forehand was just hanging out over here going, please let me hit a shot. The reason why you work on your backhand is to get back to your forehand. The reason why Lionel Messi needs to be good at his right foot is to get back to his left foot. Like, you know, like it's not to fucking play with his right foot now all the time. You know, it's fucking neutralize it and get back to what you fucking love to do, which is rip shots with your fucking forehand, right? And like this is why like this book just made me think about like I missed it. It's like my first love. I don't like tennis when I'm only hitting backhands. It sucks. I don't like it. What is fun for me is just going out there and fucking ripping shots like I was doing tonight on the pickleball court. I mean, I was just my forehand was whoa, like winner after winner. I probably hit like in the 5 games we played in this best of 5 match. I feel like I probably hit like 20 forehand winners and at least caused an error another 12 times with a great shot with my forehand. I miss my fucking forehand. And this was a reminder for me to go do the stuff you love to do and to do it for the reason why you love to do it. Like don't spend so much time on your backhand that you forget why you're doing it in the first place, which is to get back to what you love to do, right? Like address a weakness to get back to what you love to do. But don't forget, you got to get back to what you love to do. Anyway, all right, love to get your thoughts.
I mean, my philosophy has always been don't try to improve your weakness, just improve your strength. That's my philosophy even before I met you. People argue with me,
Yeah,
hey, you have to work on your weakness. I say, why do I need to work on my weakness? I have
I agree.
thousands of them,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Right.
And I'm good at one thing or two things, right? Why am I trying to be well-rounded,
Average.
right? To
Yeah.
me, it doesn't make sense. Logically, it doesn't make sense because,
Right.
I mean, people say, hey, you gotta be improving on your weaknesses, and everybody's doing it. And like I told you yesterday, is I'm like one of those weird guy that is always doing the weird stuff, which is like not normal.
Yep.
But my philosophy has always been, if you're good at something, just do that. Because
I
one,
agree.
there is a sense of, I mean, you get things done. When you're good at something, you get things done, right?
Yep.
It's the benefit or return on investment on the effort you put into it. And second thing is you enjoy the work. And to
Yep.
me, I
It's
can't
it's fun.
find a reason why you should work on your weakness. Because for me,
Well,
it's not like
kind environments versus wicked environments. Wicked environment, you should probably never work on your weaknesses. As a matter of fact, you should go find other people
right,
whose
but the thing is,
strengths are your
I
weaknesses.
think the kind environment, there's not too many things that applies in terms of the kind environment because how many things are kind environment that you have to participate? Like,
I have to hit a backhand.
right, but no, this is what I'm saying is in tennis, this is
Kind environment.
one of the environment that is kind. I mean, there's a set rules that you have to obey, but that's the thing is you chose to play tennis and you
Right.
like to play tennis, but no
Yep.
one forces you to play tennis. In
Right.
life, there's certain things that you just can't choose just because it is life and you're on the treadmill of the universe.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying is you can take a kind environment, like I'm saying, take something that is weaker, right? And upgrade to something which is much more complex and dynamic and apply, hey, we talk about the backhand in tennis, we talk about forehand in tennis, now bring it to life, right? No, life has more variables than
Right.
the kind environment. And so is you doing you're doing the reverse, right? One thing, people don't understand that taking one element and say, hey, this resembles something, does not correlate to the other environment. And say, if over here something is the same, over there it's gonna be the same too. And that's the mistake that people make.
I agree.
Because you're talking about, in a lot of ways, people take only one face of a multiple object like cube or a dice or whatever. You take one face, right? Hey, this is number one. And over here, if there's number one, they say if it works over here, it should work over there. And that's where it get wrong.
Right. Yeah,
So the
I agree.
forehand and the backhand, right? It's great in theory, right? But it doesn't work in real life. That's why in real life you have to really reset and re-experiment with the these concepts because like you say, I agree. I mean, you miss your forehand. Why? Because
I love hitting my forehand. I
exactly
fucking love it. Like, I mean,
that's something you can do
I,
well, and it
it's not
is
even,
something you
it's
enjoy.
effortless.
And so why are people telling you to curtail your strength and work on something else that you don't care about or you don't like?
Because when people in a kind environment like tennis, when you get to a certain point in time when my forehand, I love hitting it, but I can't, like even Novak Djokovic,
Right, but the thing is, I'm saying
can't
is
just,
in
at a
that
certain,
environment, I don't disagree. but
Right.
you can take a metaphor from a kind environment and applies to the
I agree. I agree.
it's
As a matter of
like you're
fact, like
saying
the whole
about
idea.
the futsal, right? The futsal, right? You can't
Mhm.
say, well, I'm playing soccer now. I'm going to be good at futsal. No, it's the other way around because they have
Right.
more stringent in futsal. So it's if you can do it in the in quick environment, in a kind environment, you're going to be world class. Just like when you go from tennis to pickleball, and you can go play pickleball, and then you go, hey, I'm really good at pickleball. I'm gonna play. Uh,
Can't do it. You
you
cannot
know,
do it. I mean,
Andre
you like
Agassi, I'm gonna play again. I might
right.
win. Say, no, you're
No,
fucking dreaming.
you can't.
You're
You
delusional if you think you're good at pickleball or
there's a
tennis.
guy that I play with pickleball. He's a really good guy. He's a pretty good pickleball player. He's only ever played pickleball since like he started it like maybe 5, 7 years ago or whatever. He's really into it. He plays all the time. One point in time, because we play on the local courts down the street, are combo tennis and pickleball courts. So like
Mhm.
I play tennis down there all the time. One time I was down there hitting with my ball machine before we were having a pickleball night with everybody down there. And he was like, "Hey, can I hit around with you? Can I, teach me a little bit about how to play tennis? I've always been curious about trying to hit a tennis
Yeah.
ball." He couldn't get the ball over the net. I was trying to show him what to do, trying to explain to him. What people don't understand is how hard the tennis balls. They're heavy, they're dense. There's a lot of impact
It's
you
harder to
absorb.
control the accuracy. Just like you're talking about playing football, right? Hey, I can throw football farther out, and then you can play baseball. Say, hey,
Right.
I'm pretty good at throwing football. I should be a
They're like,
pitcher.
great.
And
Yeah.
no, you suck.
Right. Yeah,
And you can be
exactly. Yeah.
the best, thrower in football, right? But you can't throw shit in baseball because your target is much smaller. And
Right.
so that's what I'm saying. You can't translate from football to baseball that way. You have to work on the other side. Same
Right.
thing with pickleball and tennis, right? Tennis is actually the racket is longer, it's actually heavier.
Way heavier.
And then the tennis ball is actually
Ball,
heavier, right? And it
the
takes
impact.
more muscle control
Right.
and muscle movement and coordination to get it to go where you want it to go, to even
Yep.
direct the directions and where you want to hit it. That's
Yep.
much harder. The other one is easier. I mean, you muscle don't have to work that much. So, like I said, you can apply a smaller environment, a more defined environment, and apply the same thing to a more complex environment. It has to be the other way around, right? You can downgrade, but you cannot upgrade. But
Right.
upgrade requires additional, whatever it is, additional information, additional effort, additional a lot of stuff.
Right.
So that additional, so that's what I'm saying is a lot of people who write the books and say, hey, like we talk about
The backhand.
the backhand
The,
issues, like
the,
we
I feel like I was duped on that one, to be honest with you, because I wrote a reflection about that, and I had a big aha, and I was like, "Yeah, you're right. I do need to focus on my backhand. We should identify these things." And then I had an epiphany later on down the road where I was like, "If it's a wicked environment, who gives a fuck what your backhand is? Go find somebody else that their forehand is your backhand, and just let them do that."
but
Like, and
then,
like
like I say, take me for example. You say, "Hey, what are my weaknesses?" I say, "Fuck, I have thousand,
I
even
know, right? It's like,
infinite
why? I don't
number of
care.
weaknesses,"
Right.
and I
Right.
would hate to do the things I don't like to do.
I don't have the ability to have sonar like a bat. That's a weakness of mine. Like I should probably go work on my
Yeah,
sonar skills. And you're like, no, this goes back to what's the worst grade you can get in academia?
a C plus.
A C plus, right? Like because this is what we're talking about. It's like go work on the thing you get a D in,
It's
or in my case, like and get it from a D to a C minus or C, and you're like, it's still a fucking C shot. Like my backhand is still a fucking C shot.
because then your weaknesses, you can work so much on it.
I worked so
You
hard on
you
my backhand.
the best you can get from working on your weaknesses, the best is get to average. Yes, the best you can get by working on your weakness is get average.
Average, exactly,
And
right.
and that means like you work so much. I mean, if you work like, hey, you kind of work on like maybe 50%, and you are below average.
Yeah,
At best, I mean, the most you can go is average. I mean, like I
and
say,
and
you
you know what
cannot
sucks?
send ducks to an eagle school and say expecting the ducks to
Right,
perform like an eagle. Hey, the
right.
duck can, go all out, and he can probably, if he's like work out every day, do all the weight, drink all the protein, take all the steroids, maybe like half an eagle.
Yeah,
I mean, he can't see shit. He can't change directions. He can't dive. You think about a duck versus an eagle, right? And the way they fly, right? You
Right.
think about it. You send a duck to an eagle school. How much can a duck become an eagle?
Not much. I mean,
You just can't change the way you are. You don't have the ability. You don't have the talents. You don't have the beak. You don't have the
I
eyesight.
don't understand it. Like, I mean, I really don't. Like my backhand in tennis, I don't understand it. Like my serve in tennis, I don't understand it. Like I'm like, why is it when I play against people that have a great serve? I'm like, why do you have such a great serve? My serve is fucking shit, and I work really hard to have a shit serve. I'm like, I don't even care. Like I'm like, I just want to get
You
the ball
would.
in.
I mean,
I
the
would
thing is,
almost rather hit a forehand with my serve, like, and just be like, here, I don't even give a shit. I could probably hit better angles and better
oh
pace.
my! I tell you a story. Back in college, right? I'm a chemistry major. Okay, I graduated chemistry in 3 years. I mean, I love what I do.
Yeah, that's
Right?
impressive. Yeah.
Chemistry, calculus, biochemistry, physics, all these classes. I spend almost no time studying. I fucking spend all the time, like 90% of my time, writing an English paper. And you know what is the grade I got?
Let's see.
I fucking see. I barely made it.
It's
It's
so
like,
dumb.
I mean, I'm talking about like, I have computer science, I have like these things, I have books, it's like this thick, right?
Yeah,
I don't read them, but I can go and I mean, I can fucking ace
right,
any of those subject that I just mentioned. I'm good at it, and it comes to me naturally.
right.
But write an English paper, I spend so much time on it.
Yep,
Fucking get a C. I mean, I have A's in chemistry, I have A's in physics, I have A's in computer science. I don't even try, and I still have A's. I
right.
cannot get a B in these classes,
Yep.
but I cannot fucking get a B, even though I tried so hard. I couldn't get it. I could not. I don't know. And
I,
that's to
I,
me, that is the
I,
story
I
of
that's
working.
exactly what we're talking about. Yours is a dumbass metric. You know
Yeah,
why?
and that is what get me from 4.0 to 3.25 because like I don't. I mean, I have to
But
take like
you were a 4.0 student and all those other disciplines you just talked about. That is what you should put on your like. If any employer gives a shit what grade you got in English when they're hiring you to be a chemist, they're gonna be like, why would you give a fuck? Like I would say, all my chemistry classes, I was a 4.0 student. You know, like I love it. Like this is a red thread for me. Like it's effortless,
and
it's
that's the
easy.
thing. I hated that class. I just spent so much time and it's so much misery. And the most I got was a C. That's been below average.
And
And
it's not fun.
what
This is the most important part about this is it's not fucking fun. I would not be a tennis player or a pickleball player or a racquetball player. If you made me only hit fucking backhands, I wouldn't play the sport. I'd be like, this sucks. I don't want to fucking do this. Like this is stupid. I don't want to fucking play this shit stupid sport where you can only hit a fucking backhand. I'd be like, I don't want to do it. I would never have been all the stuff that we've talked about over this entire journey, this reflection, the stuff that I was just doing tonight, right? Like, am I the best player in the world? No, I'm not. But I have a great fucking forehand and I love hitting it. And it makes me want to come back every single time. It's like a golfer that has a great drive and they hit a fucking 350-yard drive out there and they're like, oh my God, you just sit on the tee box and you're just like, you just stare out there and you're like, fuck, that was a good shot. Like, yeah, I can't putt for shit.
people tends to put themselves in a frame of mind, say, hey, you have to take tennis, for example. You have to be good at forehand and good at
Right.
backhand. So, oh, you're good at chemistry. You have to be good at writing fucking literature and
Right.
understanding this and that. Say, why do we need? I can just hire somebody to write it.
Right.
You want to write? I want an autobiography, right? Right now, what do I gonna write it? No, I'm just gonna hire a ghostwriter. I mean,
Right.
she can
Hire
do it
Walter Isaacson.
that's what I'm saying is it is a vast difference between what you can do that you're good at versus work on your weakness. I mean,
Right.
why are you working on weakness?
Yep.
Because other people can do it for you, but they anything like take anything in real life. It's not like, hey, in tennis, oh, you have to play by yourself and you have to do both, the serve, the forehand, the backhand. And that's what I'm saying is people take that and they say, hey, you have to be well rounded. Because
Yep.
you don't not well rounded, you're not good at something. It's like, no,
Nope.
I mean, if you're
Nope.
well rounded, I mean you're average in everything.
Yes, exactly. That is the point. And it's not an average. There's nothing worse in life than to be average. Like, I mean, you
It's
work
not
really
fun. It's
hard.
miserable when you are struggling, right? Struggling to do the things that doesn't make you feel good, and it takes you tremendous. I would say
I work five
hopefully
times
I'm not
harder on my
I'm not.
serve.
It seems to me like working on something you don't like, it takes 10 times the effort just to get average.
True. This is the reason why like this epiphany has been a recent epiphany for me. Like I don't even hit my forehand anymore when I go and train. I don't even hit it. I didn't even realize this until after reading this book, where I was like, what am I doing? Like all I do is hit shots that I watch and I go, like one out of every 10 of them are the way that I want it to look. And I'm like, what? Like 9 out of 10 of my forehands are the way that I want to look, and they're fucking pretty. And every shot is like they're effortless. And I'm like, what? Like, I just want to hit those. I don't want to work on my serve. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love getting better at tennis and I love competing. So that's why I do it. So that's a red thread for me.
The thing is, that's what I'm saying is we want to make sure people understand there's a difference between what you need to do in a kind environment versus what you can do in a weak environment,
Right.
right? It's not the same thing, so don't
Not
try
even
to
close.
mix the two
Right.
in tennis
Right.
because that is the rule, and the rule was made up by men. They say, hey, this is what we play. So if you want to play tennis, then you have to do your backhand. I'm going to translate over to the real world and take
But
it.
life, yeah.
And
No.
it doesn't work that way. And a lot of people do that. People look at say, no pain, no gain. If something doesn't kill you, make you stronger. That
Right.
is a bunch of bullshit.
Do the things you hate the most first, embrace the suck.
Yeah, what the story I heard on some kind of a media. Basically, he said, a professor, he take $100 bills, right? And he raised it up and say, who wants this $100 bill, right? Everybody raise a hand. Then he got crunch it and make it all wrinkle, and then he holds it up again. He said that who wants this $100 bill, right? Everybody raise their hand again. Then he put it on the floor and he step on it and he stamp on it and make it dirty. And he take it up again and say, hey, who wants this $100 bill? And everybody raises hand up. And then he said, the moral of the story is that your worth don't lose its value, even if people abuse it, damages, and whatever. And then that is a lesson. And then some lady or whatever saying, the lesson is that if you're a woman, right?
Right.
Even if you are like abused, beaten up, or whatever, your value doesn't diminishes. And I
Right.
say, fuck, those two are not the same. Those
Too
two
far.
aren't the same. You
Right.
can't take the same lesson and say, hey, I don't really care. I don't need to take care of myself. I can do whatever. I can, you know, be who I want to be and go all out and, you know,
Oops.
be mean, be whatever, and I don't lose
Right.
my value
Radical
because
candor. Yeah.
right, lady, that is not the same thing. You can't take the story from this lesson and say
Right.
apply to your because in life, right? Men don't want you, right?
Right.
The value of men is subjective. It's not
Yep.
universal like a dollar, right? A dollar is we agreed on it. So that's one. The second thing is that dollar, right? Let's say that dollar doesn't lose its value because let's say on the $100 bill, right? I will raise up the dirty, damaged, the dirty $100 bill. I raise it up and say, who wants this one, right? And I raise it. Then I would say, hey, I have a crisp, brand new $100 bill. Which one do you want? Even a dollar bill, which one do you want? You can only get one. Which one do you want?
Yeah. I mean,
Right?
doesn't matter. Yeah.
So in real life, it's not like you can get all the wives and all the girlfriend you want. You can only
Right.
pick one. So it's not like, hey, it doesn't lose its value. So what I'm saying is a lot of what people do is they take one aspect, one element of
Doesn't
something
apply. I
and
mean,
translate to something it's much more complex and say, hey, it's the
right.
same.
Right.
That is where people are like really, really go, pretty much the wrong
Yeah.
direction.
They're taking a story, they're trying to make sense of the universe, and that's okay.
It has a lot more variables in the
You
way
can't
we
like
can
it's not
understand it.
it's and like it makes sense in a lot of ways, but like
When you extrapolate this kind of thing, it's 99% of the time it's wrong.
it's luck. I mean, most of the stuff is pure luck, right? Of whether or not an outcome is what you want it to be or not, right?
Because
So like
because it
it's
had hey, one face is the same, one of the elements is the same. Okay, I give you that. But
right,
you cannot identify the object based on that element. Because I say, well, an example I can give you, say, hey, let's say you want to identify somebody. Let's say I want to identify your wife. Okay. And let's say, I will give one element of your wife. Hey, my wife wears a red dress. So I go to a crowd. I saw somebody wearing a red dress. Is
right.
that my wife?
Could be.
Could be, but would it be? Would I be 100% that hey, I go up
No,
to her and hug her,
right.
right, and kiss her? You think about it, what is the chances that I'm wrong? What about another element? Let's say
Pretty high.
a
Yeah.
woman that's wearing red, no, a woman that's one element wearing a red dress with long hair, even three elements, does
Right.
not guarantee me that's my wife. You know what I'm
I,
saying? So
I,
people don't take one fucking element and say, well, over here, this is the same thing. Well, it has to be. It cannot be different. I take this element of whatever and apply it over here. And like you cannot guarantee that is the same.
I got a great story for you. My wife, when she was, I want to say this is probably like 2015. We would go
Mhm.
down to Christmas every year into San Antonio. We're going down there next week. And it's first time back since the pandemic, actually, because they've come up here the past couple Christmases for Luca.
Mhm.
But we do this gingerbread house building contest, and it's a pretty competitive contest every year on Christmas Eve when we're down there. My wife has a little sister. I think she was like 12 when her sister was born. So I think she's like 12 years older than her little sister.
Mhm.
So my wife is 37. So her little sister is like 25 now.
Right.
When her little sister, this is probably like 5 years ago or 6 years ago now. So she was probably like 18 or 19 years old. My wife's pretty petite. She's like 5 foot tall, maybe, and dark hair,
Mhm.
maybe weighs like 100 pounds, 105 pounds or something like that. She's not a big person at all. Her little sister is about the exact same size. They have almost exact same build, exact same hair color. Like their face looks totally different because they have
Right.
actually different fathers. We were building this gingerbread house contest and everybody was done. Actually, Sarah, her little sister's name is Sarah, was my partner. Sarah's always been my partner. And I wasn't looking, but from behind, it looked exactly like my wife. I just wasn't really paying attention. I went up and I smacked her on the butt. And her sister turns around. I was like, "Oh my God." I was like, "What the fuck did I just do?"
What's the chance that what is the chances you're wrong?
That was in the same house with the same. I was like, "You guys look identical from behind." I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "This is not good." I had to go tell my wife, obviously, because I was like cracking up. I was like, I just like grabbed your sister's ass, and I didn't mean to. It was pretty
This
bad.
is what I mean. Chances are you're gonna be wrong. Like you need more elements to positively identify that object or that concept will work.
Right.
And people only use one element of whatever, and they like let's say like that's exactly what I would say about the backhand, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
chances are it won't work. I mean,
You do
it's
you
like
do have to work on your backhand in tennis. In chess, you need to work on your backhand. Like in fucking you know academia, you need to work on your backhand in a weird way because academia is a game.
so
I
there
mean,
is
like
certain there
it's
is a certain environment, there's certain situations
right,
where things apply. I'm not saying that it doesn't apply. I'm just saying it don't universally trying to use it across the board. And this
right,
is what people say, hey, this is what really, irks me a lot is people say, what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. It's like, no, it doesn't, right? If you eat dirt, right, your health's gonna deteriorate. It does not make you stronger.
that's a good point.
And the
Yeah,
thing is, this is what people are telling me, and especially my family, right? We say, hey, your kids, they need to be exposed to germs and eat dirt and all that. It's okay.
no,
It's to make them stronger. And everybody is against me. And I say, it doesn't make sense to me. And everybody's against me on that. I say, no, it does not. Because they make your immune system weaker.
yeah, for sure. I mean,
You're gonna get like autoimmune disease because your system get confused and start
attacking,
attacking
yeah,
itself, and
right,
then
right,
you have more issues, right? So
right.
don't eat dirt. Be as clean as you can.
Right, right, yeah. Like, I mean, there's a reason why, the Aztecs, the Incas, and the Mayans existed for a really long time, and then all of a sudden, all the Spanish people had to do was walk
Sneeze on
onto the
them.
shore and yeah, and just give them a handkerchief and like, hey, and then walk away and be like, I'll come back in 6 months when you're all dead.
You can conquer the whole civilization without any bullets.
Right. They did. I mean, they conquered an entire two continents, by just bringing over livestock and themselves and killing everybody, I mean, like with disease. So yeah, no, you're right. Like, I mean, and that like it did kill them. What the funny thing is like people go, well, yeah, they should have, worked on your immune system. But the funny thing is like the Spanish people went through hell for generations and generations of bubonic plagues and black plagues and whatever other fucking shit. They already went through all their
I mean,
bullshit.
most
Huh?
of them are dead.
Most of them died. Yeah,
They
I mean,
don't
yeah,
they don't like factor into the fact that most of the cases you already die. You only
Right.
take the survivors and say, hey, this is what we tout as the the way to do things, right?
Right.
I mean, they don't count all the millions of people who die. It's like you eat dirt, like hey, like 10 people eat dirt, probably like one of them's gonna survive. And say,
Right.
hey, you eat dirt, you get stronger, right?
Right. Right.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying is that
Like,
nine people
no,
die, you don't factor that in.
you don't bring this stuff onto you, if you don't want to. I mean, yes, if it happens, it happens.
I'll beat you up. Your whole cranium is kind of cracked, it's busted, your shoulder is completely twisted, right? You won't die. Or you can get stronger. No, you're gonna be fucking like,
This
really.
is this is the David Goggins bullshit message, of like, hey, like, yeah, I taped up
You're
my
gonna be in
broken
a
shins
wheelchair.
with duct
I mean,
tape and ran on broken feet and broken shins, and I was pissing blood after my 100-mile run where I didn't hydrate appropriately and I didn't know it. You're like, that's not good, David. Like, I don't care what you learned. Like, it's not
I
fucking
mean,
good,
he could have lived to 100, but he did. That's what I'm
Right.
saying. People don't get
Fucking
that. It's like,
moron. Like, like you shouldn't fucking, he was talking about his pull-up record and he was like, literally he would pull his hand off, with the taping they had on it, and his fucking skin would pull off of it. And he was like, like it like that's somehow good. I mean, yeah, like callous yourself, what anyway, all right. It's really late. We could go on all night.
you cannot take one aspect or concept from one side and translate to something that you have to upgrade. It doesn't work that way. And so that's the aha that we're talking about. You have in real life, which is what matters the most. It matters if you're playing tennis or playing chess. Those things have a different perspective. But in real life, which it matters to a lot of people, is you have to work on your strengths. Forget about your weakness. Weakness is identify them and compensate for them by utilizing other people to work on your strength. Because what's the point of it's like it reminds me of I walk into the dining table. There's a bunch of cakes on one side and there's a bunch of frogs on one side. Instead of eating the cake, I'm eating the frogs.
I gotta get through the 10 frogs before I get to the cake. Why? You like
It
cake?
reminds me, I can't eat it. I don't want to
Yeah.
eat it. Why? Because I self-impose myself because some
Because I
fucking
gotta eat cakes.
guru is
I
saying
gotta
you
eat.
need to work on your weakness, or some fucking guru tell you to do the hot things first.
Right. You're like, no, like there's cake right over
No,
there. Like, why don't I just eat the fucking cake?
I'll eat cake till all the cake's gone.
Hey,
And if I have to eat to survive, I may eat the frog. But I
exactly.
ain't gonna stop with the frog.
Or go find somebody that they're eating frogs is like eating cake for them, and they're like, I fucking love frogs, man. Like, I mean, frogs are the fucking best. Like, you don't even know how delicious a frog leg tastes when you boil it and you put a little butter on it, whatever. I'm like, no, that sounds
I
disgusting.
like it
Eat it.
raw,
Like, fine, but like, I don't care. Like, they're like, oh, cake is disgusting. Like, cake is so sweet. It's so much,
there are people who
sweetness and
doesn't like cake.
oh, Luca's never eaten a piece of chocolate in his life or a cake. Like, I mean, we can't get him to eat it. Like, I don't know what it is, but every time he's licked some chocolate once and he was like, I don't want that, like, but every cake we've ever gotten him, every cupcake, every brownie, every cookie, anything that we've ever tried to give this kid that was like a sweet, he's like, I don't want it. He was like, just give me my peanut butter puffs, give me
Some
my
people like
cheese,
sweet. Some
like,
people like. For me, as I like spicy. Right.
right.
I eat spicy. I mean, I love spicy food. I eat peppers with every meal. I even like the thing that's bitter. Right. The coffee.
Yeah.
I drink it like black. People always like.
I hate black coffee. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, "Rah." But
Right.
that's why there are people who likes frog, and let them eat
Right.
the frog.
Let
Right.
them eat it. Find those people and bring them in your life, and you go eat your cake, and let them eat their cake, which is a frog, apparently. All right. So the question we can leave with you all is: are you playing to your strengths?
Not.
It's not fun. Number one. Number two.
Suck at
Yeah,
it.
yeah. You suck. You suck at it. What being a C student is the worst you could ever be.
This is so much miserable, so much work. I mean, I feel like I have a headache. I get nauseous, and I don't get a fucking C.
It's gross.
I mean,
It makes me want to puke. If I could never hit a forehand again ever in my
I
tennis
go to a
or pickleball
library
career.
every day and hand in the paper, and I got a C. And he said, great improvement. Like, okay, from a D to a C. That's all I got. I said, forget it.
All right. Enough. Well, we'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for joining.
Well, part two of two. See you
Yeah.
guys. Bye.